Lay this out. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and this is JR with Inland Empire Couples Counseling. I'm so excited to get to introduce you to him today. He is one of our newer therapists and absolutely fantastic. And today we are talking about how to fight fair. So, start us out. We have 7 different tips or considerations, rules, if you want to call them.
Yes.
Where we start, JR?
Oh, we're going to start at about how do I feel? So, how do I feel is a time for you. It's important to kind of stay in tune to what you're feeling, especially if you're having a disagreement, some conflict with your partner, with your spouse. Sometimes we can lose on what we're feeling. And it's really helpful for us to communicate that with our partner because it tunes them in into what's going on with us internally. And that's a great opportunity for you to make some connection with your partner to let them know, hey, this is how I am feeling. I need your support. I need your help. And then when you do that, it allows your partner to give them, I guess a helping hand, right? As of, okay, I know I need to do this. If you're feeling this way, this is what I need to do to help you. If you're feeling sad or angry, this is what I need to do. If you're feeling frustrated or, shy or whatever the case may be, this is what I need to do to kind of help you. That really helps to kind of steer the conversation in a more progressive, more positive manner when you focus on your feelings, right? And then you're able to really communicate that. And it really helps to manage, the big one is anger, right? We get really angry when we argue, when we're fighting, right? And so when you are in tune, you're able to really verbalize that feeling of, yeah, I'm angry. Well, let's talk about why are you angry? What's that feeling? What is that experience like for you? And how can I help you so that we can not get you so angry and we can kind of talk about what we need to talk about versus us is screaming and yelling at each other. And we really aren't getting anywhere when we do that.
Right. And I love what you said there about you can clue your partner into how you're feeling and what you need because they may respond really differently to you if your position in this fight or disagreement is coming out of hurt or frustration or feeling like you were betrayed or something like that. Like the response that you need is going to be really different depending on how you feel, and so you can start out by just being really clear.
Yeah. Because sometimes they may not even know. I mean, they may read your body language. I mean, you know your partner, but sometimes your partner may, surprise you, right? And they may look like they're fine, but on the inside, they are, like you mentioned, they are hurting. They're feeling very shameful and blameful and guilty. So it's really a good idea just to communicate, to identify with them and not to hide it, right? We don't want to hide it. We won't let them to guess, right? Because no one's a mind reader, right? And we don't want to play, that game. We want to be progressive in this dialogue and to get us over this situation together, right? And that's the whole purpose is to get it together.
Okay, so we get clear on how we feel, and then the next idea is to stick with one topic.
Yeah, stick to one topic. And this is a favorite of mine because so many times we have conflict and dialogue with our spouse, with our partner, and we like to bring up what happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? What happened with your family, my family, all these things just kind of come into this moment. And a lot of times they don't have nothing to do with what we're verbalizing, right? What we're talking about. So it's really important to strive your best and not to focus on what was, but instead of focusing on what is, like what's happening right now. What are we talking about? What is the subject that we're arguing about? Whether it's kids, house, financial, emotions, whatever, the hurt, right? The pain, focus on that. That's wanted to be our lead. Because when you're able to really focus on it, you're able to really communicate and then be progressive in that kind of conversation. A good term I like to use is like monotask, right? Which means just kind of focus on one thing. We could be great multitaskers, right? But in such situations, you want to just focus on one task at a time.
And what I tell a lot of my couples too is whatever that other thing is that gets brought up is sometimes an important thing that also needs to be discussed, but you can't make progress on either of the issues or any of the 10 issues that might get brought up in an argument when you're trying to talk about all of them at once.
Yeah.
And so you can make a lot more progress and headway and all that if you can stick to one topic at a time.
No, I agree. I mean, and like you said it, it may have some relevance of why you're bringing it up. It may have meaning within you. But then again, let's talk about that. Why is that so impactful to you? Why do you think it's important to bring that situation up today and then have that conversation together, make those connections together, right? Which is leads us to our next about being honest, right? Honest of why this situation matters, why I feel like this repetitive behavior isn't so important to me right now. Like really kind of draw those lines. It really helps your partner. It really, really does. That's why honesty is truly the best policy, because you're able to really clear the air, right? You get things out. You're no longer holding or harboring anything in, and that release helps you as an individual, and it helps your partner. It really does.
Right. Sometimes it can feel scary, but it really is the best way to go.
Yeah, it really can be nerve-wracking because we don't know how our partner is going to respond or how they're going to take that. But when you clearly identify those thoughts and those feelings, it creates a space where you can have great depth in your dialogue. You focus on, again, the situation and the topic and your emotions and your feelings. And we're no longer, right, talking about the other things that really don't matter right now. My job right now is get through this situation with you.
Right. So explain what you mean here by too low for me.
Too low for me, man. Too low for me. So that subject is about when we getting in our conflict with our spouses or our partner, and we hit to below the belt, right? And it gets to the point to where like your words hurt. And I don't know who came up with this one. It's that whole sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Totally not true, right? Words hurt. They really, really do. They really matter, right? And so we want to be really careful not to bring up our partner's weaknesses while we're having these kind of conflict conversations and dialogue, because it just creates more space of distance. It can create more opportunities of hurting and pain and suffering from one another about the situation, and creates insecurities. It creates guard behavior. It can create all sorts of stuff that we don't want, because we want to get through this. We want to create more of a conflict and more of a mess with one another.
Right. And like to connect it with another video that we've already done, sometimes when people get into a place where you know that what you're saying is just to hurt, you're so angry at what your partner has said to you or how they're responding to you or whatever, that you just like want to hurt them back.
Yes.
And if you find yourself in that place, that's the time that you need to take a break from the argument.
You really, really do.
Yeah. And you can go look either on our website or YouTube or on the Facebook Live feeds to find the other videos that we've done about how to know when it's time to take a break and what you should do during the break if you find yourself getting in this place where you're going for the low blows.
Yeah, we don't want to go for the gulliger, right? We want to show more love, right? We want to show more forgiveness and patience and kind. That's the whole purpose of your relationship.
Well, yeah, because you come all the way back around to think about like, this isn't a person who's your enemy.
Yeah.
Like, when this argument is over, you still want to feel loved by this person, and you still love them. And I think when we're in tune with that, like, better self part of us, like, you don't want to hurt them.
Yeah.
So when you find yourself at that place. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's next? Hear me out.
So next we have is hear me out. Yeah. So hearing me out is just taking the making sure giving each other the opportunity to hear what each other has to say, right? So many times we can get into a conflict or a disagreement and we're just kind of, I call it word vomit, right? We're just kind of giving you everything, like things you did yesterday, this morning, 2 months ago, and it gives the person not enough time to really properly like respond to your 10 questions, right? You don't know, where do I begin, right? What's more and more important to you? So you want to create an opportunity to where the person can respond to the one question at a time, right? And then you're really hearing what they have to say. So, to leave out the interrupting, right? Tune into those active listening ears and really hear what someone's saying, and having that reflective moment and kind of like, okay, I hear what you're saying. This is what you're saying. This is how I'm interpreting what you're saying. This is how I'm feeling by what you're saying, right? Really important, because when you make sure like your partner is able to really hear you. You're really able to build those connections with one another. Your partner feels you're in tune with them, right? You get that empathy kind of going on with your partner, and it really makes for a great progression as well. And then kind of leading towards of how you're wrapping up this conversation, because you shouldn't be arguing for like 20, 30 minutes, right? It should be somewhat of a, okay, we're getting to this high point, and then now we need to figure out how to go about it together.
Right, right. Okay, so what's next?
Next is ha ha ha, right? This is
use some humor.
Right. My favorite part is humor, funny. So when you're at that point, as I mentioned get a bit ago about that whole peak when you're at the argument and then kind of going down, if it's appropriate, you want to use humor, right, to help to promote more healing and transition the conversation into the resolution where we're problem solving together, right? Great opportunity to make jokes at ourselves, make jokes at the situation that's positive, that's really get you and your partner kind of getting at together, and it can also stimulate, some intimacy. It can reduce, some tension. It's really, really helpful when you use humor in a way that you and your partner both can understand and you both accept. Now, we don't want to poke fun at one another. We're using this tool, again, as a united front, not to create more distance and more space or put each other down.
Right. I love how you said, like, use it appropriately. Because you definitely have to read the mood of your partner. And because if you try to make a joke and they're like, that's not funny, it wasn't, they don't respond well, and then you double down on it, well, now you're just like, you've made the situation worse.
Yeah.
But appropriately used humor can be one of those things that really like breaks the tension, shifts the energy towards the two of you like being friends again and being able to collaborate. It's a repair thing.
Yeah, you're definitely tugging on that friendship aspect in your relationship when you can be goofy and silly with one another, because disagreement doesn't always have to be this negative interaction or just negative force, right? It can have positive in it. Yeah.
Right. Okay, and then last tip for fighting fair?
Last tip to wrap it up. So it's draw me close. So this one's really, I like it as well. It's really helpful because when you're having this wrap up, kind of coming to problem solving and resolution towards your disagreement or your argument, is a great way to kind of figure out ways to come together. So you want to do some exercise that's going to be impactful, like some meditation or prayer. If you enjoy prayer together, taking some time to really bring the body, mind, and soul in together, get you guys back to being present, get you guys back to feeling centered, right? Again, a great opportunity for some intimacy, support from one another, to tug on those, love language that your partner may be having, or depositing in their love banks, or whatever tool you utilize to really help. It's really good for that. And it's also a great opportunity for reflection, right? Reflecting on how you're feeling, how the experience made you feel, how do you feel now that it's over with and we've come to either a compromise or a solution or whatever the outcome may be. Hopefully it's a positive one, or hopefully we come to an agreement to where, we can meet at ends, right? We can agree to disagree, whatever they may be. It's a great opportunity to kind of have that kind of flow.
Yeah, I love the suggestion to do something together that is either meditative or physical, or maybe both. A long hug, a walk.
Yeah.
I mean, the hugs are great, even if you don't have to say anything. So just hold each other for a little while and you'll feel your bodies relax. It's this really great like physical reminder that even though there was this disagreement, even though there was something that got a little tense that we had to work out, like we're still in this together.
Yeah, you want to really, and that the hug, it really tugs into those sensations, like our five senses, right? So if touch is really important to you, or smelling your partner helps you to take at ease, and do more of that. I mean, what's helpful, you guys know what's impactful, so it'll come natural. It doesn't have to be a whole science production. You'll already know what's really impactful and helpful. So just lean into those and let that to be your guide and let that kind of help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JR, for taking the time to put this together, these tips for how to fight fair. If anyone is interested in watching more of these videos, or you'd like to set up an appointment with one of our therapists, you can head over to iecouplescounseling.com.
Yes, I'll see you soon. And thank you, Rebecca, for this wonderful chat. It was very fun.
Yes, I had fun too.
Have a good day.